Hi, guys, and welcome back to Too Much. Today, I have a very special guest that, as a New Yorker, I have always admired and dreamt of having on my podcast one day. So I am so excited to announce and welcome to Too Much the host of We Met at Acme, Lindsey Metselaar.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
As I just said, have always known about you, having been an FIT girl, like I just mentioned to you. Acme was my stomping grounds.
Oh, I'm sure.
So when you came out with, I don't know, what was first, your Instagram or the podcast?
The podcast, and then I think I birthed the Instagram the same day.
Okay. I think I still don't really listen to too many podcasts, but your Instagram, I remember seeing that name and being like, that's fucking genius, because it's also how I started dating like every single guy that I've ever dated in my life. So I met him at Acme. So it rang true. So I would just love to hear, to kick us off, a little bit more about you, how you started it. Were you a frequent Acme veteran guest?
Yeah. So a little about me. I'm 34. I'm from New York. And I'm married and I have a son. I did go to Acme growing up all the time in my 20s. But what's really funny is that back in the day, and I'm definitely aging myself here, but Patrick was the original the doorman.
I remember Patrick well.
He was amazing. He actually came on the podcast once.
No way.
And before I started the podcast, Patrick didn't really care about me. It wasn't intentional, I just wasn't on his radar.
Uh-huh.
And so it was actually a friend of mine who was the reason I was getting into Acme all the time. And I would always have to go with this friend to get into Acme. But regardless, when I would be there, I would have the best time. I would meet people, no one that I ended up dating seriously, but I would have the best time. Then I started the podcast because the truth was I was meeting people at Acme. And I didn't even expect this, and this isn't even why I started it, but I started getting the royal treatment there, and it was amazing. And Patrick and I became best friends, and he came on the pod, and so it was just such a moment.
That is truly a badge of honor in New York City as a New Yorker. If you guys don't know what Acme is, if you're not from New York, then what are you doing? But no, if you don't know what Acme is, it is this club on Bond Street? Yeah. Or it's in NoHo on Bond Street. And you go downstairs. It is
Great Jones.
Great Jones, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's on Great Jones, and it's just one big room, but there's, a bar area, there's lounge tables, there's some booth tables. The music is always fire.
It's so good.
Always angsty, early 2000s.
It's always 90s. Music you can sing to. It's never the music.
Yeah, it's always a really good, once the wedding starts to get drunk music.
Yeah.
That really fun, we can sing, we can dance. There's always a really long bathroom line. That tended to be where I met most people. The bar is actually also quite big to stand at and linger at. So it's just prime meeting people. But that is a badge of honor, privilege to be someone who can get in there. I always manage to sweet talk people.
Well, now if you want to get in anywhere, you just have to start a podcast with the name of the place.
Perfect. So
I should welcome back to San Vicente Bungalows.
Welcome back to gospel. Just kidding. I don't want that to be my badge of honor. But yeah, when I think about college, for me, it was Acme. So when you started the podcast, was it strictly dating? I feel like it was primarily a dating podcast.
I was so single. I was 27. And so it was really about my dating life on the podcast. I was talking about it so openly, candidly. I was naming names of people I was dating. It was so savage. And obviously had to reel it in a little bit when I realized people were listening, and I was getting calls keep my name out of your fucking mouth.
Were they all the tragedies of the night, or were they good relationships too?
I only really was talking about the bad dates at that point. There were some good dates, but none worth really mentioning. Uh-huh. What was funny was that when I started to date and people would be like, don't talk about this on the podcast. And I'd be like, ugh.
Now that makes me want to talk about it.
Yeah. And also what makes you think that you're even worth talking about?
Yeah.
Do something interesting then.
Yeah. Actually, I had people doing that to me too. When I first started mine, I think I was only single for 4 or 5 months when I started it. But everyone kept being like, are you going to put this in the podcast? I was like, don't flatter yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not a good, that was a red flag for me. So when did you get married? When did you meet your husband?
I met my husband a few months before the pandemic.
Okay.
Which still to me feels like it was yesterday, but it was, like 6 years ago now, which is nuts. We met on New Year's Eve in Miami.
Oh.
We actually had a mutual friend. And so we kind of knew each other, but not really. And we were able to date in the wild before all the quarantine stuff. And then we ended up quarantining together. And we were one of those couples that actually made it through COVID. And it made us stronger as opposed to realizing we hated each other and breaking up.
That was me. And I went through like 4 of those during COVID. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. You're with someone all of the time, especially if you're an avoidant person, which I'm not labeling you as an avoidant, but I kind of was before that. I was terrified to do something like that, but I kind of had to let my guard down and do it. So
I think I actually didn't realize anything about myself until COVID because I didn't think I was avoidant or anything like that. But then all of a sudden I was like, oh no, personal space is very important to me. And like being able to have my alone time is very important to me. So it was like, definitely had its pros and cons. But okay, so I'm trying to do the math. So if you were 27 when you started the podcast, how long were you 9? When were you single?
Yeah, so there were times where I was single and then times where I would get into relationships throughout the podcast. So it was 9 years. So obviously there wasn't a consistent relationship throughout that whole time.
Yeah.
I was single when I started it. I think I got into a relationship at, 28, got out of that relationship at 29. Then I met my husband. And so I was single for the first 2 years of the podcast.
Okay.
And by single, I mean just not with my husband.
Totally.
But I would date other people.
Yeah.
And then since then, which is crazy to think about, I've been with my husband. And so I guess that was like, I'm so bad at math. I feel like this is a test. I feel like this is a test. That was like 6 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So 6 years ago, basically why I'm teeing this up is because what we're going to talk about here today is essentially like the modern day of dating and kind of what men have been getting wrong. And I don't like to man bash. I'm really not in that phase of my life anymore. I really kind of wanted to talk about, what women are fed up with now, what men are not really grasping. So why I was asking is like, I would say it was the same for when we were single versus now. But would you say that men are now more than ever confused about what women want? Or do you think that they just don't care?
It's so funny because I talk about these kinds of things all the time. And I don't think anything has really changed fundamentally. I think that we're more vocal. We're more vocal than ever. And I love that, the name and the concept of your podcast being too much because women are getting labeled more and more as too much because we've never had so many options to talk about things, so many platforms, this and that. And so I don't think that men have changed. I think that women have found their voice more. I think at the end of the day, men are the same, really. Men still want the same things, the same traits in a partner, but women, rightfully so, are not going to be silent when they hear or see or experience bad behavior from men. And so I think that's why there's this notion that men are worse than ever and that women, they don't know what women want. Women have always, for the most part, wanted the same things. I mean, what do you think?
That's a really, really great point. I agree. People are like, how is it dating right now? And everyone's saying it's not great. But I agree. I think there's so much information out there. We now know what we deserve because people are talking about it. People are not being silent about it. And also, I think women are afraid to demand more respect or demand more in the relationship because they want to be viewed as the chill girl, the low maintenance girl. And there's this fear of being high maintenance. So we are kind of putting up with a lot more disrespect and a lot more bullshit than we would have because, I don't know, there's a bit of an emotional laziness or actual laziness that's like being uncovered now more than ever.
What's so funny is that you said high maintenance, but I don't think that is the right word to describe it.
Totally.
I don't think that any woman is high maintenance. I think, first of all, I call her Teg, that easygoing girl. She doesn't exist. She's fake.
Where did that name come from?
A girlfriend of mine actually came up with it. Shout out to Lizzie. Teg doesn't exist. And the opposite of Teg isn't high maintenance. It's a woman who knows herself, knows her boundaries, and honestly is so much more attractive to men. Teg does not get proposed to. Teg does not get the relationship defined, because Teg allows you to walk all over this person and is a pushover and is just agreeing with everything the man says. Like, that easygoing girl is bullshit. And it's so funny because I say this a lot, and like I get DMs being like, no, I'm actually easygoing. And I'm like, okay, good for you.
Yeah.
You know, like, but you're the exception. And don't make us look bad because we have opinions and beliefs and thoughts, you know?
Yeah, it's also this idea of what is easygoing to that person.
Right.
Like, that's just based on your preference. Like, it's a subjective thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what, you like to watch football with the guys, so you're easygoing?
Right. I also, yeah, that's so pick me. And I also think that your demeanor in your relationship depends on your relationship and how it is. So if you have a boyfriend who really makes you trust him so much and you're like, I don't care if he goes to Mykonos with his boys, using that as an example, because my husband goes on a trip to Mykonos with his friends every summer.
I'm taking off my shoes right now. I'm like Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, no, do it. I love it. Are we going to touch noses?
Yeah.
No. And I don't care at all. Like, I'm like, go to Mykonos, have fun with your boys, because he puts me at ease and like allows me to not care, because he's only ever shown me that I can trust him and that I want him to go and have fun.
Right.
But if I were in a bad relationship, you know what I mean? Then I would act high maintenance, but that'd be a gaslighting version of just feeling insecure in that relationship. So I'm demanding a lot.
I totally agree with you. First of all, that was me last summer. I went to Mykonos while he was home.
As you should.
Yeah, but I totally agree. Like, when I think back at some relationships, I have found myself saying in the past, oh, I was really crazy when I was with that guy. And it's like, no, I don't think I was. I think I was demanding the same level of respect. I was demanding the same things, but that person was just incapable of giving it to me. So it caused fights, and I tried to force it. And it became much more of a tumultuous relationship and me deemed as high maintenance or nagging or something. Whereas I ask for the exact same thing with my partner now. And he's like, yeah, totally.
And like, sometimes you don't even have to ask for it because he knows how to treat a woman he's in a relationship with.
Yeah. And that's like literally the tagline of my podcast is what's too much for one person is not enough or just right for another.
Exactly.
Where, when I first started dating him, this is like kind of how I came up with the name of the podcast. His sister had known me before and said to him, like, I think she might be too much for you. And he said that to me. And I was like, okay, like, I'll be just right for someone else. So you can go. Like, I don't give a shit if I am for you. So it does all boil down to like, it's what you're asking for. It's subjective to like what people can actually give you and what they're willing to give you and if they're being lazy or not, or if they jive with you. Like, it doesn't even have to be about laziness. It could also be like they don't feel connected to you, so they don't want to give it to you.
And I also would argue that too much is so much better than the opposite, which is like a wet blanket. And no one wants that. And I always say on my podcast, and I know you'll agree with this, that there's two types of men who want to date someone who has an edge and men who have an edge themselves.
Ooh.
And if you're too much girly listening, you need a man who wants to date someone with an edge.
That's a really good point. When I think back about, there was this guy, I call him the old man. He was 19 years older than me. But when I was dating this old man, like, he had all these qualities of like, could work a room, got what he wanted, demanded things. Like, no one ever said no to him. And I like wanted to be with that so badly. And I think I kind of dimmed my light for a little bit when I was with him. When I got out of it, I was like, oh my God, no, those are things that I want in myself. And like me going after someone who had that edge that I wanted, like, it did make me kind of dim myself. So I wasn't being Emma. I was being Teg.
When we're making a list of qualities we want in a person, we have to make sure we have those qualities because otherwise it's dangerous.
It's also like they don't need to fill a void. They should be like complimenting and adding. And also like with this list, it's funny when I hear my friends talking nowadays about dating and what they're doing, it's like there are standing ovations over the bare minimum. People are like, oh my God, he texted me after the date. We're literally applauding these men because they made a fucking reservation. Like, men used to fight wars over us.
Literally.
And now we're sitting there being like, thank you for remembering my name. Like, it's bullshit. And what we should be going for is like when the actions are aligning with the words and when they're able to express their feelings like on a high EQ level. So to add in all of this as well, the dating app culture. I mean, I feel like we were probably around the same age, like when it blew up, especially dating in New York. It was like everyone was swiping on these apps and it became this so many options. I mean, how did you handle that? And like also being in a metropolitan city where like the pool is the same.
It was actually so crazy. And I know I keep aging myself on this podcast, but when I graduated from college, Tinder was in beta.
It was in beta when I was in college also. So we're not too far apart.
But you weren't using it in college. Like you were in college.
I did.
Really?
Yeah. I think like sophomore year I got on it.
It's so funny because I've never been in college with dating apps and I can't even imagine what it's like.
Yeah. Especially like, being in New York also.
Well, because I'm also like, there was so much dating in college. Like what would I have done on a dating app?
Yeah.
Dated a grad student, maybe.
Right.
Which would have been kind of cool actually. Like a Harvard grad student while I was at BU. But it was in beta. And so it was only friends of the Tinder guys, like the guys who started it at the time,
That's really funny.
which were friends of mine from LA.
Oh.
And so I knew everyone who was in the beta Tinder.
Yeah.
It was like 50 of us. And so it was the most fun dating experience. I ended up matching with a friend of mine. Now he's a friend of mine. At the time, we didn't know each other. And we went out. It was so fun, I have to say. And then dating apps really started taking off. And Hinge at the time when it launched was friends of friends only. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I think so.
So you'd have to have a mutual Facebook friend.
Right.
It was very connected to Facebook. And you'd have to have a mutual Facebook friend.
Oh, because it was the Hinge.
Yeah. To match
like you had
with someone. Exactly. And so that was so fun too. And I think that was like the heyday of dating apps. Now, obviously, everyone and their mom has every dating app. And I do dating app consultations and I see so much burnout with just the same conversations over and over again, the paradox of choice. I mean, it's just like people have endless complaints and I understand why. It's not like the cream of the crop on dating apps, it's everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really hard. It doesn't make it necessarily much easier than going out into the wild because it's everyone that you're going to meet in the wild is also on a dating app and there's no real curation anymore.
Yeah.
Have you seen your friends have success on dating apps?
Yes and no. Like, I mean, it's what is success? You know, it's like, is it just going on these dates?
I guess
like
it's marriage.
Right. Like that's, so then no.
Right.
But
I mean, let me, I feel like I'm going to get killed for that comment. If marriage is your end goal, it's marriage. And obviously success is happiness, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but but that's the thing. We are placing that weight on the dating apps and we are placing that weight on dating. And it's like, that's not everyone's metric of success. Like what's success to me is different from the next person. You need to determine your own success. And if it is getting married, that's great. If it is just getting a date, that's great. Maybe raise your bar a little bit higher, but that's great for you.
Yeah.
If it's starting your own company, that's great for you, you know? So it's like, I feel like people do go onto these dating apps with so much fucking pressure, being like, where's my husband, where's my husband, where's my husband? And it does take the fun out of the dating app where that's what it was created for. Like you were there at the start.
Yes. And that's why I always say when you're making a dating app profile, do you remember when Facebook was actually used?
Yes.
And your friend would go to the bathroom and you'd take over her status and write crazy funny things and be silly and be like, oh my God, like just took a big shit, like whatever the hell you were writing. That is how I think people should make their, Hinge profiles, like as a joke, like not a joke like mocking, but just as fun, lighthearted. When you're swiping after a big day of meetings, you're not going to stop because someone said they ordered chips and guac for the table. You want to see something weird. You want to see something interesting. You want to see something that takes your shitty day and makes it lighthearted and funny again,
Yeah. I mean, thinking back, like, I don't think there was ever a time where something stopped me in my tracks and I was like, oh, someone said this.
There was for me. I remember the guys who were funny, like genuinely funny on their profiles really stood out to me.
What was one of the things that they said?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't even know from back in the day when I was on it, but from a dating consultation I did recently, I think someone was like, I miss when Ubers were less than $50. Like just something, it's not
relatable.
That brilliant, but you're like, yeah, no, same. Like that's fucking a joke. And it's also like, I don't know, I guess it's taboo to talk about like wanting to not spend so much money, but in that way, it was really done well and tasteful.
Yeah.
Like these little quips that can make you laugh that don't have to be so intense.
Yeah.
And whatever.
And I think people are also like putting pressure on that part too. It's like, I have to be funny. I only have this one chance to get someone. And it's like, again, it goes back to like the pressure that we're putting on it. You guys know I love to talk about neural pathways. Well, fun fact, studies show that when you take shrooms at a subhallucinogenic level, the psilocybin actually creates new neural networks in your brain that boost your mood, your focus, your creativity, your productivity, and can help with your mental clarity. And that is exactly why I started microdosing with Schedule 35. I am a one-man show with this podcast. So always staying on top of everything and always being on creatively can sometimes be a challenge. I can admit that. But working Schedule 35 into my daily routine has been completely game-changing. Their vegan capsules are accurately dosed to give me the exact edge I need, even on my craziest days, without the hallucinogenic effects. And if you don't want the vegan capsules, you can do chocolates, gummies, or even shroom-infused tea. Each order ships discreetly and comes with a microdosing regimen that gives you all the education you need to get started and keeps you on track. Get 15% off all orders with code TOOMUCH at schedule35.co. That's 15% off at schedule35.co with code TOOMUCH. Happy microdosing. But I love that you do the dating app. You do dating app specifically consultations or just dating consultations?
Really dating consultations, but a lot of the time it's to help them with their dating app profiles.
I fucking love that.
It's so much fun for me. I can't even tell you.
That's got to be so interesting. What are like some tips that you give people when it comes to taking it from the apps to real life?
Yeah. For taking it off the apps, I always say, don't let the conversation just drag on. But also, the more that I help them respond, so in real time to a conversation, the more likely this person is to take it off the apps, because I'm doing it for them from a place of like, I don't care, this is fun. But sometimes when you're the one in it, you give off, I care a lot, I need this to happen.
Yeah.
And so it's totally about your attitude. It's like almost you need to get like hypnized to not and or just act like you're doing it for a friend, because you can get so invested on, is this going to come out of the app, this, that. I don't think that you should give your number unless a plan has been initiated, because sometimes you'll do that and then they become a pen pal and you're like, why do you have access to me if you're not even going to take me out? And I think, again, like, you should be weird. You should talk to someone on a dating app like you talk to your best friend.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be so like, how was your day going? How was your weekend? You don't fucking know them. Who cares how their weekend was? You don't care,
Yeah.
Instead, be like, did you see the last, episode of The Last of Us? Like, they're taking the show to a really weird place. What do you think? Just like get right into it.
Yeah.
And see if they can hang.
Yeah. How you take the phone and say like, I don't care, so I know this is going to work. That's how their mindset needs to be, like taking this pressure off of dating. But at the same time, there's that paradox of, but we are trying to find our long-term partners. So like meeting people out and going on these dates, going on dating app dates and taking it from date 1 to date 2. I mean, how often are you seeing like the ghosting happening, or like when someone does show a lot of interest, ask them on the date, they go, ghosting, breadcrumbing, all of that.
I think that can happen a lot. I think people are still not great at communicating. A lot of men have not worked on their communication skills the way that a lot of women have, but women ghost too. And I think I see a lot of mutual ghosting, just neither person reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
I think some men don't realize that they have to be the one to initiate like consistently if they want this to be a thing. But at the end of the day, no, I don't want to make excuses for men. They know where you are. They know how to reach you if they want to see you again. And so I think if you're not hearing from them, they don't want to see you again. And it sucks, but that is essentially where the ghosting is coming from.
Yeah. Do you think that this rise in feminism, and I want to use that term kind of lightly in this sense, but just like women, speaking up for themselves, is making these men emotionally lazy or do less in the relationships, put less effort in?
I'd hope not. I don't think so. I think that with the rise in feminism, I think it's a wonderful thing. I don't think that it really goes into how we date as much. I think that, and again, I'm very traditional and no one has to agree, but I think that we should still date as if the man should take care of us. Of course, we're allowed to have our views, we're allowed to have our opinions, we're allowed to vote, we're allowed to do whatever the fuck we want, have our own jobs, etc. But when it comes to dating, like the man should still pay, the man should still initiate, you know, we should be taken care of. And I think that if we remember that and that dynamic, if we're straight and dating men, then that's going to be fine. It's not going to affect us. But if we're going to the date being like, no, I'm paying, I am the one, like, what are you doing here? You know?
Yeah.
I think that can mess things up in terms of the dynamics.
Yeah. And thinking of it in terms of like the man side too, if you're in a hetero relationship, I've been in a situation where, you know, I do want myself to be financially stable. I don't want to ever have to rely on a man. That's kind of how I was raised. My parents are still together, but it's my mom's second marriage. And she always taught us, like, you know, you should have enough money so that if you ever feel like you need to leave, you need to be able to. Don't stay with someone in fear of that. So that was kind of just how I was raised. And I remember with this one ex that I had, Hawaii guy, did it a couple of years ago. He dumped me in Hawaii. That's why he got that name. But when I was dating Hawaii, he didn't pay for anything. We split everything.
Ugh.
And I never really said anything because I was kind of just like, okay, I don't want to like ask for him to pay. I think he should, but is that also me relying on him? And I remember him making a comment once being like, oh yeah, my girl's so independent. She never wants me to pay for her. And I was like, I never fucking said that.
Right.
Like, absolutely not. I've seen even comments on TikTok and stuff of like old things that I've said that have gone viral when men are like, all you want to do is be taken care of and us do things for you and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, yes, but those things don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like us being independent and us being taken care of.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and I did a whole episode on this recently. It's like men want the best of all worlds. So men want you to have really a lot of independent success on your own to be a successful person in your career, but also be a trad wife and take care of them, but also take care of them actually before your career, but still somehow be successful and be an amazing mom, but again, be successful, but also a trad wife. So take care of them. And it just like, it adds up.
Right.
And you're like,
if you want me to be a traditional woman, then you better be a traditional man.
Correct.
And don't make me work.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a crazy concept. I have seen right before I stopped dating and got into my relationship, like guys were getting a bit lazier. Like I even hear it now with my guy friends when they're going on a date. They're like, oh no, I'm not taking her out to dinner. I'm just taking her out for drinks for our first date. And they refuse to take someone out to dinner because they're like, I'm not going to waste my money and my time on someone if I'm not going to like them, which I get. But I also, how do you feel about that?
I don't like their reasoning. Like I would never say because I don't want to waste my money and time. But I think it's more like, yeah, you don't know each other. You don't owe them, you know, you don't want to be stuck at a dinner with someone.
Yeah, that
sucks.
Also kind of.
I think that's way more important.
Yeah.
I like the idea of drinks or a walk or coffee.
Right.
I think that should be more normalized. But I also like that because I don't think you should be spending more than an hour with someone on a first date.
Oh, really?
Like maybe 2 hours max.
Interesting. Let's go down that rabbit hole. Why?
There's just no reason to. I mean, this is like it's your amuse-bouche, you know? We're not having the full 4-course.
So what about, you're about to really read that I've been love bombed a million times. So you're against those like 8-hour amazing.
Oh my God, the
first
marathon dates,
Yeah.
terrible. They always end in disaster.
I've done so many of them and they all did end in disaster. So I can confirm.
And you're going to get a listener who's like, I had a marathon date and he's my husband. We have 7 kids. It's like, okay. But you're the exception.
Yeah, you're the exception. Yeah. Another trend I've been noticing. Also, I feel like holier than now saying I've been noticing because I'm not out there dating. But like I went through this, guys. Like this is not me being like, oh, like all you people out there who are still dating, I've been through this. I'm with you. But recently I have been seeing that guys have been like love bombing so hard for 24 hours or the first night or doing these marathon dates or like a weekend in the Hamptons or something. And they're filling these girls' heads up with all these sweet nothings. The girl's reciprocating and then the guy just dips out, ghosts, whatever. To me, it's like they got their dopamine hit. They got what they came here for. You gave it to them. And so now they're out. And then at the same time, the women are like, well, I know that he might be out tomorrow, so I am going to give it all back. And it's this crazy fucking thing that's happening.
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't give it back.
Right.
Like
we shouldn't, but
it's easier said than done. I think we've all been in that situation where like we're so excited because it's rom-com energy and we want to be in the rom-com, but we're going against our instinct, which is to be like, I don't even know this guy, you know?
Yeah.
And so just don't lose sight of your instincts.
Yeah. The boundaries, I think, are just, I mean, I've done that so many times where like I literally had the fairy tale romance Hamptons weekend, met a guy at Surf Lodge. That's the equivalent to met a guy at Acme and like thinking that you're going to like ride off on a white horse with them. But I thought it was going to turn into something. And it's like the flame goes out so quickly because it was a spark.
Exactly.
And a spark is not connection. A spark is not something that's going to last.
Well, a spark can last, but not if it goes up so quickly.
Yes, there shouldn't be spark then anxiety inducing. I need to do everything I can to keep them.
Exactly.
Yeah. All easier said than done. But like, what would your advice be to someone to maybe stop going after these people if that's someone who they always attract or always seek?
Well, I would say to listen to the dating rules that I talk about on my podcast.
What are those?
Oh, that's going to be a whole other hour here. But the episode is called The Complete and Total Guide to the Dating Rules. And that's a good guideline. And then I would also say, look out for the signs. If it's happened to you multiple times and you see something happening again, what do you need to be paying attention to? Are they talking about the future a lot, but they're not actually making concrete plans? Are they, actions over words?
Yeah.
So are they just talking, but where are exactly, where are their actions? Are they consistent? Or do they make you feel safe and not stressed? How do you feel when you're around them? All of that stuff.
I had a guest on recently. We had a similar conversation of like, it was Sabrina Zohar. Consistency doesn't mean that they text you every day. Consistency means that their actions are aligning with their words.
Yeah.
And like that's happening over and over and over again. And it's not just like that first 2-week period or that first, because like everyone could be on their best behavior for 2 weeks.
Right.
Which typically they are.
Yeah.
And men know how to be.
Right. Like how do they act when they're in a less than desirable situation?
Yeah. I think like what I've learned throughout my 20s of dating, and it's the hardest thing to do, is actually just take your time and actually don't rush it and put boundaries up. And the boundaries don't have to be for them. They're not something where you have to say to them, don't stay overnight or don't stay the weekend or whatever. They're just for you. Your boundaries are for like your brain and for you to sit there and say, he invited me to go somewhere with his family. I don't think I should do that. It's too soon to do that.
Yes.
Like, boom, that's a boundary, and like hold that to yourself.
That's great advice.
Yeah, like don't give people access to the inner depths of you so early, because like someone also very wise once told me, Taryn, shout out, you can collect drama, but never collect trauma.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you can
that.
go have all these little breakups all you want, but like once you start collecting the trauma, like that's when you're in trouble. So, well, on that note, I have a little game for us.
Let's do it.
And it is called Too Much, Not Enough, which is like kind of counterintuitive because I think that like it's never enough, but it's a fun name. So I didn't have time to also write it on my card. So we're doing it from my phone.
Let's do it.
I'm going to rapid fire say a couple of things to you. And essentially you say if it's too much, which is cringe, stop doing it, next, or not enough, we need more of it.
Okay.
And they're very like dating centric and New York centric. Takes you to a Michelin star on your first date.
Too much.
I agree. Also, feel free to elaborate on any of that.
Oh, I mean,
you don't have to.
It's just the grand gestures on the first date never work out. A guy took me to floor seats at the Knicks on our first date, and I was just like, Jesus. Of course I'm going to go, but then I'm never going to talk to you again.
This is why I was saying, like, I'm a love bomb victim. Like, I literally be like, I deserve floor seats at this game. Like, of course I'll take this. Okay, voice notes over texting.
For me, it's too much. I know people love voice notes, but it's not for me.
Agreed. Refers to himself as a finance bro.
Absolutely not.
Owns a cat.
No. This is all too much for me.
Sends a Google Calendar invite for the second date.
Obsessed with that. Obsessed. Not enough.
Not
enough. Give us more.
He says his toxic trait is being so close with his mom.
Ugh. I have to go somewhere in the middle here because as a Jewish woman, I understand that the Jewish men that I am either married to or dating are going to be close with their moms.
Yeah, I agree. Part of me is also though like, why are you trying to say that to me?
Yeah, don't say it.
Yeah,
just
like, are you trying to be like, oh, you're in tune with your emotional side? Because like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, posts his Strava stats on his Instagram stories.
Too much. You shouldn't be posting Instagram stories.
My next one was doesn't have an Instagram.
Not enough. Give us more.
Yes.
We love you.
But also, are they sketchy? What are you hiding?
My husband doesn't have Instagram. He's over on YouTube and Twitter.
Okay.
Like not posting, but
Yeah,
just like consuming.
Right.
Yeah.
I had an ex that didn't have an Instagram and like jury's still
He was
out.
married.
Jury's still out on if he's married or not. Yeah.
Understood.
For sure. There was, I can't even, story for another.
Yeah, it can happen.
It was the old man.
I'm not surprised.
I can't. Brings up that he goes to therapy on the first date.
Too much because it's weaponizing.
I completely agree. It's like, why are you bringing it up? I love that for you. I'm happy for you. But like, it's also become such like an annoying green flag that girls are like, that's such a green flag that he goes to therapy. It's like,
not necessarily.
yeah. And also it's not mutually exclusive to guys who don't go to therapy.
Well, also it's just don't bring it up on the first date. We don't need your trauma on the first date.
Agreed. His best friend is a girl.
Too much, because why? Which one of you is in love?
Same. I've always had like weird vibes from all my exes that have had. Yes.
It's fine to be friends, but best friend, no.
Yeah. I mean, in my experience, it was always the girl. And then she hated me. And then like would poison little things that would happen. Don't trust it. Says he DJs on the side. Oh.
No.
This day and age,
you have
it's
to
like,
be like very, like, are you a very successful finance guy?
right. It depends on like what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then like maybe, and even then, no.
I think even then, no.
Yeah,
No, for
even
me
then,
too.
no.
Like if it's like an after and like all of a sudden they're whipping
Yeah.
out their DJ equipment, I'm like, you are not Diplo.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah. Asks to split the check.
Absolutely not.
Agreed.
Block them.
Keeps his phone on silent always.
I do, so.
Really?
Fine. Yeah.
It weirdly weirds me out.
Like, what do you expect? A ring? Like, it's ringing?
No. Okay. I love my boyfriend with all my heart. He's an angel. Like, truly, hardly does anything wrong. But his phone, it like does like a vibrate, but his screen doesn't light up, which I've never seen. And it just happens like a lot, and he just won't look at it. And I'm like, why aren't you looking at it? But it is like just everyone and anyone, but like he just doesn't have the need to.
Right.
So he's the exception to the rule. But if a guy did that, I'd be like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I think your trust issues in the past are showing, which, by the way, I have them too.
Fair.
I have them too.
Yep.
Some people just don't want to be bothered by their phones.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. I guess it's like our industry too of,
Yeah,
of being
exactly.
perpetually online.
Yeah.
Calls his ex toxic.
Absolutely too much. That is so sus.
Yeah.
You're toxic.
Why-
You're calling
what
your
did you
ex
do
toxic.
to make her
Exactly.
toxic?
Yeah. And also, like, why do you still have feelings towards your ex?
Also true. I know this one's gonna be, but it's funny. Says he doesn't do condoms.
I mean, then we don't do each other.
Last but not least, his favorite spot to go out is Acme.
Obviously not enough. We love him.
We love him. We love Acme. Honestly, it still slaps. I go
But,
back.
like, I hope he's 25 if he's saying that.
Oh, I think I actually had on my written one that he was 38. So he's 38.
38 and favorite spot to go at Acme, arrest him. He needs to be in jail. He's a predator.
Oh, dude, it's really fun though still. I've gone recently.
Yeah, but like, why
I'm not
is he
38.
there?
Right.
And single, you know?
I always love that. Like I would say that in LA when I go out to bungalow and I'd be like, I know why I'm here. But like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, not okay.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. This was wonderful. And
So
I feel like all my worlds are colliding right now. Used to go out to Acme, now I'm with you. Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me wherever you listen to podcasts. We met at Acme. I'm on Instagram as well, and all the other social medias.
Perfect. And I will put all of that in the show notes so you guys can just click out if you didn't catch that. But anyways, thanks so much for joining. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you want me to have on next, what you want me to talk about next. 5 stars, please, but I won't tell you what to do. And I will see you next week.